So you've done the self-help and you've dipped into some personal development, but now you ask the question, now what? What can you do? Well, if you want to escape the apathy, step right this way. So twice a year, I teach a course called AUTONOMY. It's a 12-week personal development and training course. What people get out of it is multifaceted. There's curriculum, there's exercises, there's camaraderie, you make new friends. There's a whole lot of interesting things. We're going to hear a sample from the course right now, and let's take a look at the value these students are getting. I played baseball in first grade. We had a fundraiser. We sold these, they were like a cylindrical container with what you would see as like baking soda inside, and they were sold as fire extinguishers as a fundraiser for the baseball team. And the kids who lived in the housing developments, there's hundreds of houses there. They can go sell these easily. I gotta walk a half mile to get to the main road and then find these sporadic farmhouses. And then, it's all older people, and be able to go and knock on their door and wait for the dog to bark. Oh, quiet down, and then they come and you don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm in first grade learning how to do that. And luckily, like, for my benefit, I had a lot of freedom, and my parents would just let me go walk door to door and knock on doors back then, because my dad grew up in that neighborhood. My grandparents lived there. My great aunt lived there. There's a whole bunch of people. They knew everybody in the neighborhood, basically. Right. And so that's my earliest experiences. So I was kind of getting people who said yes, because they might know, like, my dad helped them with the tractor one time or whatever. My grandfather, but so that's not like the genuine sales experience, because you're first grade. Of course, people are going to spend $8 because you're knocking on their door. Right. You have the endearing thing of a child trying to like earn money for the baseball team. When you're an adult, no one gives a fuck. Right. So now you got to lead with your A game. You got to be able to knock. And so, no, thank you. We already have a service that does XYZ for us. A lot of people go away. But if you learn to sit with that and say, what do you love about XYZ company? Well, they show up on time and they bill my credit, whatever the things are. Now you have a whole list of what done right looks like for that client. Go back to the office, come back with a deal they can't refuse, and close that deal. Like, the failure on the first one gives you the success for the second part too. But if you quit on yourself and you don't know how to do that, right? But for some of us, it's as, it's as easy as like changing your knife and your fork to cut something, right? It's like something you don't even think about. There's a 2-motion thing. You're not just going to do one motion. It doesn't get food to your mouth. So once you learn how to do that thing, you can feed yourself in the marketplace, as it were. Right now, let's go from first grade to age 22, right? Because they're 21 when I got these skills. 21. I learned sales from a guy who was the VP of Xerox for North America at a time when Xerox was like a big sales company. And that was not an easy thing to sell multi-$1,000 copiers back in the day. So if you work there, you had to have a certain level of expertise, but you also got a certain level of pay that comes with it, right? So IBM and Xerox were known as like the pinnacles for sales organizations, these sort of things. So this guy who taught me, his name was Neil Bradley. He's passed away. Pretty sure he's passed away. I couldn't find evidence of him still being alive, because I looked a couple of years ago. But after I got these skills years later, I did write him a nice thank you note. And when he taught me back in the 90s, I was one of 100 kids or 50 kids probably they taught at a time. So I was in a class of like 50 people back in like 94. And he came and he had founded the franchise that I had bought into. So he flew in for the sales training. And here he is, in a $5,000 suit, perfect custom fit. It's the first time I ever saw someone in like a bespoke suit. I was like, whoa, what kind of success do I need to have to get a suit like that? Right. And so he's this VP of sales for Xerox, and he quit there because he couldn't find qualified salespeople coming out of any of the colleges. No one he could even train to do these things that he needed them to do. So then in that problem, he also saw the opportunity, and he went and created a franchise organization that would teach entrepreneurism to college students. And they have to be advanced college students. You can't just like take your average college student and put them into this program. But if you're good at college and you upward mobility, but you're not going to be a doctor or a lawyer, this was like a thing that you could do. And a lot of the other people that I worked with back in the day, they're all like really good, excellent people, because we all learn the values of integrity and the culture of excellence, these sort of things in that milieu. So Neil had a $50 million a year entrepreneurial thing after his Xerox career. It employed 35,000 students across North America, and let's say 3,000 across North America that did like regional manager positions like I did, right? So not enough to change the whole marketplace, but teaching even that many people 30 years later, it's still paying into the marketplace. Look at you all getting excellent sales training in a way that I could have never read in a book back in the day. And had I not been looking for bar specials in the newspaper in college, I might not have seen that ad for make 10 grand this summer. And and it's a longer story. You'll get it in a couple of weeks. But my parents talked me out of taking that job after I got it. I got the position. They talked me into like working as a worker bee so I could learn the business because they're a paycheck mentality, and God bless them. And I listened to them for 6 weeks. And then I got my business thinking on and I went and yeah. So you guys will get that in a graduation lecture. A lot of people want to tell you that type of stuff so you'll take the course. And I think you guys deserve it after you take the course so you can see how I acquired the skills, what I did with the skills, so you guys could see what you could do with the skills you just learned over the past 12 weeks. I like to talk about it after doing the thing rather than talk about it before the thing. I think the walk makes the talk a lot more interesting.
Everyone's doing some kind of self-help these days, and you can find a million self-help courses out there. Most other courses out there are hosting lectures. They're hosting videos, they're maybe even doing Q&As, and these are great starting points to encourage learning. But at AUTONOMY, we believe that hands-on practice is the best way to really lock in what we're learning. There's no better way to gain confidence and mastery than through action. After each lecture, we practice the concepts we've learned with other students, giving and receiving feedback in a non-judgmental environment. The result is mastery of concepts like entrepreneurship, ethical sales, and self-reliance in an environment that directly translates to the real world. Plus, you make connections with other like-minded individuals who are learning right alongside you, and you have a lifetime membership in the community. The AUTONOMY course with Richard Grove equips you with confidence, competence, and courage in a world filled with confusion and noise. You can learn more at getautonomy.info. We'll see you there.